This is a short video about, you can see my primer paint job is not done, a solar shower. On the front you can see a little windscreen privacy block. The shower is 4 feet by 8 feet high. 4 feet by 8 feet on the flat, and has a roof made of spaced 2x4s with a floor made of spaced 2x4s. The spacing on the 2x4s is just enough for good drainage, and I'll tell you how we built it and why we built it. First, the solar part. Everyone wants to know how to do a solar project for cheap. This one is based on hose. The reason there's black and red is because I had 2 pieces of hose. There are 150 feet of standard garden hose on the top. They run down here. This splitter, this is where the water comes in from a hose bib. This is the cold water line, which travels straight into the cold faucet. This black pipe hose goes up into the ceiling, which is our gapped 2x4s, and runs in a big coil with the red hose. This is a 50-foot black hose and a 100-foot red hose, so we have 150 feet of hose. It's a couple of gallons of hot water. Comes back down and runs right in here. And this is so hot that once it's running, you can't touch it for more than a couple of seconds. Hot water. This is our T, joins it up. This fitting here is for when I want to put a shower hose on, which I plan to do next week. And then we run up on an elbow, and I used a rainfall shower head because Lowe's had one on clearance for $20, and it's really cool. Up on top, you should be able to tell that I have a little bit of plastic over the hose. That's because we live in a very windy area, and if you just have the lattice work top, you'll lose a lot of your solar heat, which will stop in about a week regardless, because it's going to be 105 degrees outside. But in the spring, we definitely need that plastic. I did not want to put it on, but I knew that when I was designing this that I might have to. Here you have a little shelf, some hooks. Everything inside is stained except the floor so far. Shelf for your soap. I put in a mirror. This privacy wall has not been painted or stained yet. It's temporary. It's not even fastened all the way yet. And that is just to make it a little more private when you're inside. I don't care so much, but that is actually the neighbor's pasture on the other side of our pig fence and back fence. Once I have that fence finished, it won't matter, because the only way you'll be able to see is if you're standing in our orchard. The cost on this is not too extreme, but because I made it large, you have to buy or find 5 sheets of plywood, several 2x4s, build the frame. This is very simple. Run the hose and make the fittings. We'll go back inside and I'll talk about the fittings after I show you the rest of the frame. We made the bottom deck with a couple of pieces of 4x4 pressure treated. You can see the end of one of them down there in the corner. One on the end, and one on the middle, and one on the other end. Then we just laid 2x4s across. Plenty of density, no real issues. Except I'm lying to you because we added a second row of 2x4, right, or 4x4 right there, and a third one right there. So we have 5 pieces of 4x4. The frame, very simple, just stands straight up I used a couple of angle brackets to stand it up. We did a balloon frame. So everything was, the frames were built and then stood up and then connected together with the top stringers. And then we put the lattice type roofing 2x4s on. That's all there is to it. The plywood is necessary to stiffen it. You need the walls. You also need them because even a little bit of wind will rob you of solar heat fast. The faucet system, I built the way I did to save a little bit of money. I may have saved a total of $5. But I like it better, it's more robust, and I can change it rather than buying a pre-made faucet that doesn't mount properly on my redneck wall. You saw the hose splitter and the hose base system. You can do this with pipe, but this is portable. This is movable, fixable, and we used hose. You need hose adapters, one here, random lengths of galvanized pipe. These are regular hose style valves. They just happen to be 1/2 inch female thread on both sides. Elbows, short pieces, T, short piece. This is not necessary if you don't want to put a side hose in. I really like to have a side hose. I have 4 dogs and 4 children, and you need a shower hose when you have that many cleanable animals. This goes up. This piece determined where this would land. I didn't want to mess with cutting and threading pipe, so this is a 30-inch piece of pipe, and I had it laying around. This just determined how high this would be. Just high enough that a 2-year-old can't reach it anyway. Elbow, this comes out, this is a 24-inch piece. It comes out just past halfway once you get the elbow and the adapter on. That's all there is to it. It heats up very quickly. Within an hour of full sun height, say 9 a.m. By 10 a.m., it's really good for a shower. There's no reservoir, and there's no ability to hold heat overnight. This is what we call the pool shower or a summer shower. Very simple. It works very well. Your normal problem is going to be that anytime you have a hose fitting, you will eventually get a drip from the nylon washers. I have to replace that washer. They're cheaply made washers, and you never know what's going to happen. The drain, you can't see, so you're going to have to imagine. I dug a 3-foot diameter hole, 8 inches deep, and I lined it with plastic sheeting, and I dug a trench outside, leading from that. You can see a piece of my feed bag sheeting, and that drain pipe travels right to this tree, one of our new trees. It's called a French drain system. There's gravel and then plastic on top, not plastic, weed barrier on top, so you can get the water to flow through, and then we used drain pipe to go to the tree. That's pretty much all there is to it. Very simple, less than $200 project, even if you're stupid and buy all new parts like me. If you have a lot of recycle, you could probably do this for the cost of one good piece of hose. It should work. We've used it with outside temperatures from 60 degrees up. You just need to have some good daylight. That's all there is.